This simple steel part could cost me thousands of pounds in electronic repairs. If you own a Range Rover, you need to check this immediately. Today we are going to carry out the most important maintenance task that you can and should do if you have a Range Rover. If you weren't aware, Range Rovers fitted with an open panoramic roof often suffer from water ingress. This is because the roof drains are made of steel and over time they corrode. When it rains, water gets into the cabin and damages the electronics that sit in the footwells. I'm sure you have all seen Ben's video from Dad Cars and what happened to his Range Rover.
It's flooding! It's literally flooding! Can you help me? Jesus Christ, what a design.
I want to prevent mine from suffering the same catastrophic failure by doing the maintenance now before it's too late. If you have a JLR product with an open panoramic roof or know someone who does, please share this video with them so they can check their roof drains and save their car from disaster. Hi guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Vitaly, I live in the UK and I recently bought this L405 SDV8 Range Rover autobiography. On this channel I'm planning to document my journey with this car exactly as it is. We will see just how reliable or disastrous it turns out to be. I plan to do as much of servicing and preventative maintenance myself as possible. Now let's check the roof drains and see if mine are failing already. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing. And while you're doing this, I'm going to check these roof drains. I think the best place to start is by removing these trims to check the condition of the roof drains. I have watched dozens of videos online to get a handle on this job, so I'm going to share all the secrets and shortcuts that I have found. To remove this trim, you just need to put your fingers into this gap here and lift it. It's held in by clips, so it shouldn't require too much force. Let's see how we get on. I'm just afraid to break anything. Done. Well, that wasn't actually too difficult, was it? These are the metal clips that secure the trim to the roof. Let me just pop this trim in the boot and we will take a look at the roof drains. Oh no! Look at that! This one is blocked! Look! Wow! I think this was absolutely perfect timing. That's why it's so important for you to go and check your roof drains if you have a Range Rover, before it's too late. You don't want your interior to be flooded. That could actually write off your car. Let me take a closer look. I want to see how bad it is and if I can clean it. I don't think it's completely bunched up yet, but it wouldn't have been long before it was totally obstructed. Once that happens, the water has nowhere else to go but inside the cabin. Look, all this was inside that roof drain. I'm so glad I caught this now before any real damage was done. Let's head over and check the other side. Okay, moving to the other side. You can see this one actually looks alright. Now we need to check them from the inside, so let's move into the cabin. The roof drains are over there. To get there, we need to remove this grab handle and the front one and this vent. I'll start from the grab handle as they should be quite easy to remove. I've just asked my brother-in-law to help me because it's a bit difficult to remove all the bits and film everything at the same time. So hopefully now it's gonna be easier. I've got an old credit card. If you're ever going to remove these grab handles, don't trim your nail just before doing it. That's what I did, and that's why I needed to use an old credit card to open the bolt cover. Done. Yeah, to unscrew this bolt, you need Torx 30. Okay, and the second one. This is the first time I have worked on a Range Rover, or the interior of any car for that matter, so I'm trying to be very careful not to break anything. These grab handles just clip into place, so there is no need to worry. There is nothing complicated there, unlike these vents. I'm trying to work out how to remove them. I'm using the same old credit card to try and find where the clips are located. But I can tell you straight away, a credit card isn't going to cut it. You really need proper plastic trim tool to remove this vent, because the card just bends and you won't get anywhere with it. Mind you, I know that now, but I didn't when I started. Here I finally decided to grab a proper plastic trim tool, and things got a lot easier. There are two clips on each side of this vent section. To remove this black interior vent, you don't actually need any tools. You can do it with your fingers, as it comes off very easily. Behind it, there is a bolt that you need to unscrew to get this section out. You will need the same T30 Torx bit for this one. Unfortunately, the struggle isn't over yet. There are more clips holding this plastic trim in place. You can see me working on them now, but there are two other clips that you need to release from the inside. As you can see, I'm using this pick tool to reach into the housing and release those hidden clips. It's quite a tight squeeze, so you have to be patient to avoid snapping the plastic. Once you have released the clips, be careful and don't pull the trim out straight away. You need to disconnect the green connector for the courtesy light. And then there is a speaker as well. Make sure to disconnect that too. Now I'm removing the front grab handle, and then I will move over to the passenger side to mirror exactly what we just did on the driver's side. It's the same thing with this vent. Gently remove it from its place, then disconnect the green connector for the courtesy light, and then unplug the speaker. It took us probably an hour if not more to remove those vents. Next up is the grab handle. You can see how easily I'm removing it now. And now it's finally time to remove the door seal and check the state of the roof drains from the inside. Right, we just realized that removing those grab handles and the vents isn't enough. We need to remove this trim panel, and to get it off we need to remove this black panel, and that's what I'm gonna do now. Removing this black panel is fairly straightforward. You just need to pull back the door seal, and then on both sides of the trim you will see metal and plastic clips. Just pry the panel away and it will come off. To remove the top white panel, you need to unscrew the bolt behind the plastic cap with the airbag sign. Once you have unscrewed it, you need to unclip it on each side and then pull the panel down. I'm doing everything very carefully because I didn't know all this when I started, but I know it now and it's actually very easy. You won't break anything. Finally, all the parts have been removed and we have the necessary access to the roof drains from the inside. Now it's time to drill. I recommend starting slowly and gradually increasing the speed of the drill. You really don't want to damage anything in here. By the way, the size of the drill bit you will need, if you have the same replacement part, is a 10 mil. Right, we have finally got to the roof drains and removed them. This is the first one. And here's the other one. As you can see, they have only just started to corrode, and it was only a matter of time before pieces of rusty metal started to flake off. If those bits get into the rubber pipe attached to them, they will block it up completely. It's much better to check and fix them now before it's too late. It looks like our hole is exactly the right size, so we can start preparing the surface by degreasing it with a solvent. You want to make sure you clean the surface thoroughly. Otherwise, the sealant won't stick properly, and water might seep between the sealant and the body instead of going down the pipe. You definitely don't want that happening. Once the surface is clean, we can start applying sealant to the new parts to get them into place. I'm using Sikaflex for this, as the internet and ChatGPT suggested is the best for the job. But you might know of something better. My brother-in-law is applying a bit of sealant to the new pipe where it connects to the car body. While he is doing that, I'm letting the bottom part of the new pipe ready to screw in from the inside. We can then fix the part into place and apply a bit more sealant around it to ensure it's properly sealed from the both sides and looking nice and smooth. We are also using a 10mm Allen key to tighten these new pipes even more, just to make sure they are properly secured. And then a bit more sealant, just for peace of mind. And here's how the newly installed pipes look. Everything is nice and smooth, and I don't have to worry about the water flooding the interior anymore. This is how it looks from the inside, nice and shiny. Now we can connect the rubber pipe to this new connector. While we are up here, we decided to re-grease the sunroof components to make sure it opens and closes smoothly. You really need to do this from time to time, as all the moving parts need to be lubricated to prevent them from wearing out. First, open the sunroof and apply the lubricant to the exposed parts. Then close the roof, and while the trims are still off, apply it to the rest of the rails. Mind you, you will need to stand on a stool or the car's side steps to reach. Once it's applied, open and close the roof a few times to spread the lubricant evenly. Now it's time to put the trims back on. Simply align them where they should be and make sure all the rubber seals are sitting correctly. Then clip the trim into the clips that hold it. As you can see, they should clip in very easily. Once you have started, give the trim a few firm taps to ensure it's fully seated. Make sure it's holding properly. You don't want it coming off on the motorway. And of course, don't forget the other side. I actually quite enjoyed fitting these roof trims back on. It's nice and straightforward once you get the hang of it. Look at that! Everything is back where it belongs. Next, it's time to put both the black and white side panels back into place. Just follow the same procedure but in reverse. Align the trim with the clips, 2 on each side, and click it into place. Once that's done, screw the bolt back in and pop the plastic cap with the airbag logo back on. Once the white trim is sorted, you can move on to the bottom black panel. This one is even easier. Just clip it back into place and you're done. It's a very straightforward job. After the panels are in, we can start refitting the door seal. Make sure it sits properly all the way around. Finally, we have the vent and the door handles. Check if you need to align the base of the vent like I'm doing here. When it's properly aligned, the roof liner will move back into its original position. Then you can refit the grab handle. Just snap it into the clips and screw the 2 bolts back in. Once that's done, don't forget to close the bolt covers. You don't want your passengers seeing bolts in a luxury car like this. And finally, the vent. When you put it back, don't forget to plug the speaker back in and then the green connector for the courtesy light. Double check that the light is working by touching the plastic lens. If it isn't, you will need to unplug the connector and try it again. There are 2 rows of pinholes on that connector, but only 1 row is active, so you must ensure you have lined up with the correct pins. Once that's done, screw the bolt back in to secure the trim. Now I want to share a secret I discovered during this build. Instead of fitting this black vent housing into the trim and then trying to align the front fascia with it, like you see me doing here, just clip the 2 parts together first. Once you're sure they are aligned properly, the vent slots move and the thumb wheel turns. Only then should you push the whole assembly back into place as one unit. It will save you a massive amount of time and frustration. We spent a good 20 minutes trying to get that top alignment right before we realized it's much easier to join them together first. Learn from my mistakes. And with that, the job is finally done. Whew. So the roof drains have been replaced. Now I can sleep in peace and won't have to worry every time it rains that it might ride off my car. Because my brother-in-law and I have been doing it for the first time, it took us a while to remove all the parts to get to those drains. But if I had to do it again, I reckon it would only take me about 2 hours. Because it's not that hard once you know how to unplug everything. The trickiest part was those vents. But again, once you know how they are fixed in, you can remove them easily. Although my roof drains weren't totally corroded yet, but they had started to go, and it was only a matter of time before it was too late. I would definitely recommend checking your own. The new parts I installed cost only about £2 or £3, plus a bit of car sealant. It's a very cheap fix that can prevent thousands of pounds in repair bills. Anyway, I also wanted to give you an update on my trip to the garage. In my previous video I mentioned that my heated steering wheel, heated seats and the front camera weren't working. I called the garage where I bought the car and they booked me in last Thursday. And I'm happy to say they managed to fix everything. It turns out the reason that the heated steering wheel and heated seats weren't working was the auxiliary battery. When it's on its way out, the car starts shutting down certain features and throws up lots of error codes. They replaced the battery and now everything is working perfectly. And the faults have disappeared. They also had to replace the front camera unit and now I can fully enjoy my car. So yeah, if you are getting lots of errors and features have stopped working, check your auxiliary battery. It might just be time for a new one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!